Welcome back. We have for you the greatest poets on Long Island. Poetry is one of my favorite things, and I'd like to introduce to you now the Poem Stars.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jay Vegas.
I'm the Svenbo.
I am Jersey Campbell.
And we are
The
the
Poem
Poem Stars. This piece is called Change. I need to change. You need to change. We need to
Change.
I need to
Change.
You need to
Change.
We need to
Change.
And I'm not talking nickels, quarters, and dimes. I'm talking being fathers to your daughters and keeping your sons away from crime. I'm talking this world is out of order. We so out of line. Before we run out of time, we need to
Change
our community. Because every night you turn on the news, you see foolery, pastors giving eulogies, all because of love of guns, drugs, and jewelry. We need to change our morals and values back to the way they used to be. I need to
Change.
You need to
Change.
We need to
Change. I want to live in a world where I don't need to mortgage my home just to get a good education. Where it is easier for the mentally ill to receive proper mental health care than it is for them to obtain a firearm. I want to live in a world where someone doesn't take their life every 40 seconds. Where the 12 million vacant homes in America can be owned by the 4 million homeless. That's 3 per person. I want to live in a world where the 1% and the 99% can represent 100% of the good of man. Where our actions speak louder than our bank accounts. Where prisons and schools turn at-risk youth into model citizens. I want to live in a world where stigma, prejudice, racism, sexism, discrimination, and depression are extinct. Where love is a natural instinct and selflessness is a part of the common core. I want to live in a world where it's okay to say, I need to change. You need to change. We need to change.
I'm all for change we can believe in. I want my children to grow up in a world where normalcy isn't drenched in deception, where the only weapons we wield are used for protection against aggression, where aggression is used as a means for collective prosperity, where there is symmetry between our words and our actions, because right now it seems like our words are support for the mass distractions. And action needs to be changed to inaction, passive no more passing by the vagrants knocking on society's door. Our individuality is defeating. Contemporary dreams, schemes servicing one. We've got more than enough resources, yet we continue to hoard what's left of our love. I need to
change.
You need to
change.
We need to change. I need to change. You need to change. We need to change. So let's change.
Those guys are exceptional. We love them. We love them, and we're going to have them back. And if you want to perform on Divas Live, contact us at 516-410-6016. Maybe you could be on our show. All right.
Yeah, very good.
Welcome to Divas Live, divinely inspired, victoriously anointed sisters. Welcome to our show. We are here awaiting the decision of the New York State Appellate Court. They are determining the eligibility for the Honorable Andrew Hardwick to be on the ballot. We've just returned from the rally in regard to his candidacy. Welcome, the Honorable Andrew Hardwick.
Thank you so much.
How are you on this evening?
I'm super. I'm honored to be here with you divas.
Great.
I mean, I saw other people coming here to be interviewed. I didn't know if I was going to make it or not. I'm
yes, of
happy I
course.
could make the cut.
Yes, yes. Well, tell us how you feel about this appellate decision and the rally on this evening.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to Diva for having the rally. And second of all, I'm really honored that so many people took the time out of their busy schedules to come out and support. today was a big day for our community because we've got to show those folks that believe that they're in charge that they really aren't.
Yeah.
It's really about the people's government. And for too long now, we've been experiencing where local officials and those in our federal government seem to think that they run this country and that the people have no say. Today, I got to see and hear the people's voice and their concerns. That's going to happen even more and more as we go along because people need to be empowered again.
Yes.
You know, with a little bit of encouragement because they've been beaten down so badly. You know, you see so many in our communities sell out for position and money and materialistic things. And we've seen a lot of that, even more so when I first became mayor of the village of Freeport. We saw a lot of it. There's just an abundance of corruption and organized crime in our midst today. And we've got to root it out. If we don't, it's going to destroy us. And certainly it will destroy the future of young people.
Yes.
Because we're already at a breaking point now where we can't handle the tax burden. So what will our children do? The thing that I find so disheartening is for someone like a Tom Swazi to have these television commercials go on with the same rhetoric about how he'll fix it when the guy had 8 years and he did absolutely nothing but raise the taxes. And the only other thing he did was to try and find a way to get out of here.
Exactly.
You know, so he raises the taxes, pays down some debt, buys a lot of toys, fixes up his office to look like the governor's mansion, and then he keeps trying to get to Albany. I guess it was, you know, if I don't make it to Albany, I'll make the county executive's office look like Albany. Because that's all we got from him. So now he has these cute commercials. The latest is he sits in the middle of the street with a chair next to a mailbox and says that you're going to need a chair when you get your next tax bill. Well, Tommy, you left the mess. Remember that? He's no better than Edmonston. Both of them have had together 12 years where they could have found decent solutions to various problems. Certainly when we talk about the assessment. The assessment is a big, big problem for Nassau County, especially because of Sandy. Sandy left us in a huge financial mess, on top of our already existing burden with the tax assessment that hasn't been addressed in over 15 years. So now that means that a year from now, we're going to see even more so the effects of Sandy when we talk about taxes, because a lot of folks have left those shoreline homes and they don't want to do it anymore. So that means we're going to pick up the difference because the bills are still coming and the cost of living goes up and not down. So that means we're going to have to deal with it sooner or later. And what I'm saying is that what we need now more than anything is whomever's at the helm of the county executive's office to just tell us the truth, number one. And number two, if they can't fix it, tell us that they can't fix it. They need to get experts in here that can. Sure. And we understand that no manager is it with the daily operations of any major operation. You got to have people that are experts to sit by your side and deal with those problems as a team.
Right, and we should have a seat at that table.
Yeah.
And that's all I've ever said. You know, I'm not saying that I can't work with anyone. I can work with anybody if we're going to be on the same sheet of music. But I'm not going to pretend to be working with thieves.
Exactly.
And people need to be mindful of the fact that these are the two largest. At home, we're talking to you now. You have the two largest villages in the country in Nassau County. That's the village of Hempstead being number one and Freeport being number two. So that means that if you were a person that was going to do wrong with finances, where would you want to do that? In the two largest places, and especially when you know you can't do it anyplace else but the minority community, because we have instilled so much trust in people that we become dumbfounded.
Right.
And because we've never really been at the table, we don't know the science of what's really going on anyway. until you got a loudmouth like an Andrew Hardwick that starts exposing things, like in the village of Freeport, and then we find out suddenly that we have the highest debt of any village out of the 555 villages in the state of New York. Freeport has the highest debt, 3 times higher than anyone else.
Incredible.
And what's the name of that law firm? It's moved into Hempstead, and I believe it's going into Freeport also.
Something Beach, Harris Beach.
Harris Beach, yes.
That's
yes.
Tom Swazi's law firm, folks. We got to understand that there's more than $2.5 billion with a B dollar project coming in for economic development in the village of Hempstead. And because of all of the damages sustained by Sandy on our shorelines, especially the village of Freeport, monies are rolling in by the millions there. They want to feed themselves and their cronies. It's all about the money, folks. People want to talk about Democrats and Republicans. Forget that. It's about your pocket. These folks will join forces when they find a weak lamb that they can slaughter. And unfortunately, they've turned the corridor into the weak lamb. They're here to get paid because what they're doing in the village of Freeport and the village of Hempstead, they would not attempt in Garden City or Glen Cove. Stealing elections, voter fraud, dead people voting, having people paid to vote multiple times, taking them from location to location. They wouldn't dare try that in a more affluent Caucasian community. It's not going to happen. People say you're making everything color. Hey, I'm telling the truth. And the bottom line is that the people that live in these communities have got to wake up and take charge, because if you don't, you're going to fail your children. Because this game is on.
And the NAACP has come out in full force against these atrocities to our neighborhood. And they were at the rally on today. How did you feel about them supporting the effort?
Well, I want to thank them. I want to thank everyone that's been bold enough and courageous enough to stand up, and especially you ladies. I need to see more guys out there. Our community is looking for the men. It's time to man up. Our children need to see you. And I had people say, well, what are you going to do about the lack of leadership and the lack of direction for young people? Well, it's hard to tell young people what to do when they can't respect you. It's hard because they're watching, and they're going based upon what they see from the actions of the adults that are in their surroundings. And I'm just saying to folks, we can do so much better. And I'm watching grown men that are adults now still walking around with their pants down. Guys, pick them up. You're not cute. You're destroying a good man's image by moving around our communities looking like that. It's not cool. And parents, family members, if you're watching someone leave your home every day with his pants down like that, you got to know you're not helping them. If you don't encourage our men to look like men, you're killing our community. And I've got 2 daughters. They better not bring one to my home. Now, I'm being serious. We've got to do better. I get tired of hearing people say, well, they're beating us down there. No, there's certain things we've got to do as well. And then we can combat those outside ills that keep coming our way. But we've got to be on point ourselves. It's so important that we do that. You shouldn't have to fight the fight alone, ladies. Thank God you got good men in your lives, but there's so many out there that are doing everything. And I've got to make up the difference for that, When I was mayor of Freeport, we saved so many homes. We got so many people back on point financially because we even had the banks trying to rip people off.
Mr. Mayor, I actually, over the weekend, I received some literature from Tom Swazi and the Democratic Party, and it just reminded me of an issue that came up with your mayoral election. And in this literature at home, you may, if you lived on a certain side of Freeport, you may have received it. Or certain areas you may have received it. But basically the literature has pictures of Obama on the other side. And there's a picture with Swazi and other elected officials and Obama. And it says something to the effect of Tom is going to stand with Obama against the Tea Party, something to that effect. And the reason I thought about you is because there was an issue in March about literature that you also had with Obama on the other side of it, and I didn't hear anything about that. And I thought it was very interesting because Newsday made a big deal about it, News 12, it was all over the internet, but no one's talking about the fact that this literature is being circulated in our communities, and I know it's in our communities because
that's right. But
so.
he can't send that to other communities and get
I'm sure
traction on it
Sure.
because they would destroy him. We even had on the hate pages on the internet people saying that if they align themselves, if they saw anyone align themselves with Andrew Hardwick, they would have nothing to do. And that's the racist hate mongers we've got out there.
Yes.
Okay, but three things I want to remind people of. One, we have to remember that Tom Suozzi and the Nassau County Democratic Chairman, Jay Jacobs, came out publicly against the first Democrat and African-American mayor in the village of Freeport. And cross-endorsed to support Republicans to run against me.
Sure.
My question to them is, why did you do it, number one? Number two, you never felt any reason to support Obama publicly.
Exactly.
You never, you in fact, Tom Suozzi told us at a public forum that he lost his last election because of Obama.
Let me just say, the flyer that went out, and I know some of you guys probably received it, you can tell from the back of the flyer that the party chairman, Jay Jacobs and Tom, really have never done anything for our president in any way or been to any conventions or anything, because the back of it was just pictures posted from the internet that anybody could have got off the internet and put on the back. And I think Tom thinks he's fooling us. I think that he thinks that, by him putting that out and saying that he's against the Tea Party, well, we all know that Tom, a lot of the tactics that happened in Freeport and Hempstead in those mayoral elections were tactics right out of the Republican playbook from the Tea Party. So Tom should know that we're not being fooled and that the black community understands exactly what's going on. And we see how in a quick and a hurry, you put that flyer together, took them pictures off of our president, trying to hoodwink and bamboozle the people of the corridor. But we got your number.
It's so true. I remember that Hillary had conceded and Jay Jacobs was still with the banner Hillary, Hillary, Hillary. And she had conceded.
And the other point I wanted to make, and that was that there was three. One, they came after the first Democrat and African American mayor, and they're supposed to be our allies in government.
Yes.
Democrats.
Yes.
Our fellow Democrats, our leadership.
Yes.
Came after and hurt and helped wipe out the first African American Democrat mayor in the history of Freeport. Yes. And they had to steal it because they couldn't beat us outright. Okay, so they are the authors of the book that used the dead people and the people that didn't really live there, and then paid non-citizens money to vote multiple times. And secondly, they never supported Obama in our community, never did anything to encourage us to come to anything to support the president by way of a fundraiser or anything else. That's the truth. And three, the point I want to make is that when we were rallying, just a few months ago to show support and the need to change the horrible law of stand your ground that exists in 21 states in our country, Suozzi didn't think it was important enough for him to come and stand with us and show solidarity.
That's right.
Because he doesn't want the people that he feels he has to be committed to see him hanging around with black people. We need to call it what it is.
Call it what it
We're
is.
not important enough.
Yes.
So I'm telling you folks at home, if you go out and vote for Suozzi, you are a fool. On behalf of your children, I'm speaking right now because I see myself as a Trayvon Martin that would have lived. And if you're going to go against me for no apparent reason, because I've done it right, I've kept clean hands and I've been respectable, and I've been someone your children could be proud of in the years to come.
Yes.
So if you go out and vote for Tom Suozzi just because
He's
You're
on,
killing us.
on the Democratic line.
Because every Democrat today is not a Democrat.
That's right.
We thank you so much for being with us, Mayor. And we'd like to show you some footage from the rally on today. We don't know if Channel 12 would show you the extent to which the rally went. So Divas Live will show you the rally in its entirety. Thank you so much.
Could I say one thing before we leave?
Sure, you may.
We didn't talk about that $1.25. Someone came in and lied in court and said that we paid them $1.25. Not true. I can tell you on the life of me and my children, not true. You know, when you look at the evidence clearly shows that everyone got paid the same amount of money, $10 an hour. You will see that everyone was paid cash. They had to sign a timesheet, and everyone was paid in front of one another.
Yes.
So there was above board. So please don't believe everything you read in the papers, because the papers have not, and I don't believe will ever be, our friend.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, because people get twisted because they think the paper tells the truth.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I'm glad we got that in. And as I said, we're going to show you the rally in its entirety. Thank you so much for joining us, and check out the footage.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michele, and I'm coming from Divas Live. We're here with Barbara Borum. We're standing at the rally for Andrew Hardwick. How are you, Miss Borum?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Just tell us why you came out this afternoon.
Well, I came out this afternoon basically because of the unjust that I feel that is being done to our community.
Okay, I'm here with Mr. Harris. I know he joined us on our first show. You can just tell us about your experience here today at the rally.
Well, like I said earlier at the rally, that the NAACP, in particular Hempstead branch, did not come out to endorse any candidate in particular for the race for county executive. But we did come out to make our position clear that if Mr. Hardwick has the right amount of signatures to run, he should run. And we won't be taken in by the Jim Crow tactics in the South to the new hoodwink tactics of the North. And we shall not be moved on this issue, but only because that we've waited too long, far too long, to have our voices heard in Nassau County, because we're dealing with a lot of issues that directly impact and affect our minority community. And for any particular political party to dictate who our voice shall be is reprehensible. The truth is, 1 minute you love us and the next minute you don't. This relationship is becoming very rocky with the Democratic Party, only because if you loved us so much, then why do our neighborhoods look the way they do for so many years? And our whole thing is that treat him like you treat every other candidate running for county executive. We don't have, like I said, we're not jumping up and down, but we will tell you that we've been in business a long time, and we're no strangers to this type of fight. I want to thank y'all ladies for doing such a great job in our community.
Thank you for your support.
I think Mrs. Borum and also Mel Harris. I'm Brian Jones. I'm also a member of the NAACP. I think they both just put it so eloquently. That's why we're here. And I don't think we have to just keep repeating the same thing. I support exactly what they said, and that's why I'm here. Okay? So God bless you.
Thank you.
Just like see justice done.
Thank you. Before you guys go, maybe you could just tell us, I know everyone came out for the rally, but where do we go from here in terms of the NAACP and the community? Any thoughts, any suggestions?
Well, where we go here is straight to the ballot box. We go there with our voices being heard. And instead of voting parties this year, how about us vote issues? How about us get to the very bottom of this? Why are we on the steps of the Supreme Court still fight for justice more than 150 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, more than 50 years when we marched on Washington? We are still banging at the doors of justice for our fair share. We will no longer live off the crumbs that fall off someone's table. We demand our fair share of the pie.
That's it.
You've heard it, our fair share. Thank you. Hi, so just if you can just tell us your name and tell us what your experience was today at the rally.
Well, my experience at the rally today, first of all, my name is Reginald Lucas. I'm the president of the Hempstead Coordinating Council of Civics and also a member of the Hempstead NAACP. My main thing about this is that, true, I want to see Mr. Hardwick on the ballot, but my main thing is about violence. Hempstead violence is up, and nobody seems to take account of it. And I hope that if Hardwick gets in, that he'll address the violent issues in Hempstead.
I know one thing that we noticed when we were working on the mayoral election last year is that a lot of the statistics have been downplayed. So we're hearing about it now in the news. In terms of, for the community Hempstead and for other areas that are similar, what do you hope that the next county executive is willing to do?
I hope the next county executive to take a clear eye at the violence in the Hempstead Village, because not only is the guns the problem, a young man 2 weeks ago got knifed to death along with his girlfriend. So therefore, we all should be concerned about the violence in Hempstead.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas.
Can I just piggyback on that? I am also from the Hempstead Coordinating Council of Civic Associations, and my issue also is with the violence. We are very concerned about that. We did a letter concerning this, asking all of our legislators and our elected officials, where are you and where do you stand with this issue? Now, we do not, a lot of people now are speaking out on it, but we shouldn't have to wait until a big disaster in Connecticut happened when it is happening right here in our own neighborhood. Don't our kids count? We fear for all of the children that is being killed. But they always say you have to sweep your own backyard first. We need to clean up Hempstead. We need to help our children because they are dying out there, killing each other. And when and where will it stop? This is our position, and that's what the Hempstead Coordinating Council is fighting for, and that's what we will continue to fight for. Thank you.
Ms. Boren, before you go, did you get a response from any of the legislatures that you contacted? Anyone responded?
We did get some responses, yes. And as I noticed, a lot of people are piggybacking now as if it was their own agenda, but it took something like that without personally letting us know that, they received the letter, they're acting on it. But, that's okay, because that's what we're here for, the community. We represent the community. And as long as something gets done, that's all that matters.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are entitled to due process. It's a shame when people go out, put their lives on the line for the country, and people go knock on doors, do necessary petitioning, and their votes don't count. Now this is a sad day. I'm here because enough is enough, and I've been here. I'm 72 years old, and it's time for the injustice to take place, not only with the education system, but in reference to this political system in Nassau County. It's time for a change, and we will do whatever we have to do to make a difference in reference to what's going on in this county. Thank you.
Thank you. And that was Emily Moore. Thank you.